Hello and welcome everybody to part 2 of Select versus Everize. This is game 1 of the Select versus Everize series, and when I left off, Select was moving into the base of Everize, and here comes the engagement right now. Nice pickup there, or no, that wasn't a pickup there by Everize at all. That was just pulling back there, away from the forces of Select while he produces some more units. He does have a nicely placed siege tank up here on the ramp that it looks like he's going to be moving down to the front of his base. So some nice scans here going off by both players, just trying to check and see what is going on with their opponent, trying to see, Everize wants to know if Select is further committing to this attack, but wow, a Banshee is coming in here for Select and trying to pick off this siege tank, forcing that siege tank to unsiege and move back. Interestingly enough, that siege tank is currently being picked up by that medevac. I'm not sure what Everize is planning to do with that, but Select's siege tanks are now moving into position here, and Everize is going to have to unload that bunker, and he does not get the salvage off, so he does not save and get the money back from that bunker. Now, I love this play here by Select. Select is keeping this Banshee in a forward position, nice and cloaked, giving sight to these siege tanks so that these siege tanks can do a lot of damage and pin the opponent back, and indeed, Everize is forced to stay pulled back here because he does not have the air control here. Now, I'm wondering where those Vikings went. Select did have a few Vikings on the field. Nice pick off of that reactor by this Banshee. Very nice play here by Select. Harassing with this Banshee while keeping his siege tanks here sieged up, which means that Everize can't move out to try to take out this Banshee. This Banshee is being very careful to keep out of range, and wow, a lot of kills getting dealt there by these siege tanks. This Banshee moving in, trying to deal some more damage. Nice scan there by Everize, and he does manage to pick off that Banshee. More siege tanks and marines here moving in though, and here comes the engagement from Everize. Oh my gosh, no, he cannot be engaging these forces. This is too many siege tanks for him to have to deal with right now. He does have a couple of Vikings now of his own as he's trying to establish some air control so that he can try to get that siege tank advantage. Moving in, trying to pick off a few medevacs here, and wow, Select just moving in with a lot of siege tanks. I like this play by Select, a very patient play by Select, just placing his siege tanks out here with a very, very nice spread. Just a few marines here to defend in case Everize decides to move in. Everize has now moved out with his Vikings though, and Select is really going to have to move in with his Vikings here if he's going to want to maintain that air control, because Everize right now, as you can see, is just allowing his Vikings to be up here on the ledge, and oh my goodness, with that scan, Select's siege tanks are dealing a lot of damage up onto this high ground. Looks like Everize doing a decent job of holding his attack force off, though. He is expanding to that top left corner, and I don't think Select is aware of that, but Select is now taking what looks like the gold expansion. So, Select trying to contain his opponent right now. Looks like he's loading up a medevac, trying to do some drop style play while he has his opponent contained with these siege tanks, and oh my goodness, it looks like Select might actually go up here, and yes, he is going to go scout this third and try to see if Everize has that third. So he is now doing a very nice contain here on Everize, containing Everize to 2 bases while he takes his own third at the gold expansion. So wow, there comes the stim by those marines moving in to take out this third, and I don't think Everize has anything that he can do to stop this orbital command from going down. He is now destroying the rocks. These destructible rocks are preventing his own forces from moving in to protect his third, and oh my goodness, that orbital command goes down. Oh my goodness, that was such a big loss there for Everize. Everize loses his third command center. He is now completely contained. If we check out the food count, Select is ahead in the army count, 164 to 159. Not by too much, but he's got this complete contained. So many siege tanks out at the front door of Everize. There is not a whole lot he can do about this, unless he is able to establish air control. He really needs to establish this air control, get these Vikings out at the front, and slowly move up these siege tanks to try to break this contain by Select. Select is now completely, well, not completely saturated, but getting his I was about to say orbital command, but no, planetary fortress at the gold base saturated. There is a drop here by Everize. Looks like Everize is trying to force Select to move his forces back by doing some drop play, and no, he scouts that is a planetary fortress and decides to just pull back. Select continuing with his very, very strong contain, and Everize attempting to move back to his third, but there are 2 marines here. 2 marines, ladies and gentlemen, that is all it takes to deny a orbital command So I like that play there by Select. Everize here still with the control here. I think that was a scan that went down that allowed him to get that those siege tank shots off. And Everize, knowing that he has that air control right now, is slowly leapfrogging his siege tanks forward while his Vikings give him vision. And oh my god, is Select being forced to pull back? No, Select is just pulling back just a little bit. He does see that the Vikings here are giving Everize sight on his siege tanks. He does have an SCV out here. I like this to keep his siege tanks repaired up and keep this contained. Very effective here by Everize. But Everize, notice, has now managed to break down these backdoor rocks and managed to move his Marines into the base of Select. Select preparing a little bit of a drop, but this drop is going to be completely ineffective, and he might lose it completely to all these Marines, which are +1/+1 right now. We should notice that, wow, nice little stim, nice little stutter step micro there by Everize, and he does manage to pick off that medevac. Nice small win there for Everize. As I was saying, both Marines for both players are currently 1-1, and it looks like 2-2 upgrades are coming down now for Select. No further upgrades here coming down for Everize, so it looks like very soon Select is going to be at a Marine advantage, and oh no, miscontrol there by Select as his medevacs go in, and well, maybe not. Maybe not. You know what I think that might have been? Is I think he might have moved those medevacs in first to try to take damage for his Vikings, and Select has managed to take air control of this battle. Select, both players now scanning to try to see what their opponents are doing, but Select knows he now has the air control with these two Vikings that are now on the field. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start leapfrogging some of these siege tanks forward, but oh my goodness, look at all these siege tanks now down by Everize. Everize is now confidently down on 2 more bases, producing 2 more command centers. Looks like he's trying to double expand to try to keep up with Select's food count, because Select is on that gold, is now establishing a 4th, and he's just doing a excellent contain here. Very, very nice contain. He still has the air control. Looks like Everize is not producing too many more Vikings. He does have 2 more Vikings coming, but it looks like Select has very well established his air dominance. Now, he is moving these siege tanks forward a little bit. As you can see, he is now using that air control to his advantage. A few Vikings moving in, but as I said, oh no! A miscontrol there by Select, and Select loses his air control. His air control, which was critical to holding on to that contain. He's now placing down scans to try to get some sight there for his siege tanks, but this Viking here means that Everize has now established air control. This has just been a lot of pressure here from Select. Select with 4 more Vikings now moving in. Everize has just been under tremendous pressure here from Select. So much pressure. There is a drop here that Everize has been trying to get in and deal some damage with. Looks like he did manage to get in and deal some damage, but this planetary fortress is going to be able to hold off any kind of drops on that gold. Looks like he did manage to snipe that 4th, but I don't know how much Everize is going to be able to do here as long as Select has got this massive contain on him. Select has been forced to pull his Marines back just in case this drop tries to come in and deal any damage. This drop has now landed here at the bottom right corner, but he's now going to go in and see that Select has not yet expanded at that expansion at all. Select still maintaining this contain, but it is a much weaker contain than it was before. He doesn't have that many units up here, and his Marines have retreated back to this position. He does have air control right now with these 4 Vikings, and I don't know how long Everize is going to be able to hold off this this contain. Because if we check out the food count right now, Select is ahead in the food count, 200 to 169. He does have this 3rd up, but man, Select just has this excellent contain. Stim coming in here from Everize as he brings in this drop, but very nice placement of those Marines by Select means that Everize is going to lose this drop. He loses all those Marines, and will he lose these medevacs? No, he's pulling those medevacs back. And a GG from Everize. He knew that there was not too much more he could do. He saw that Select's Marines were up in upgrades. He was completely contained, and Everize was just unable to break that contain. That means Select takes Game 1 of this best of 3. So we are now going to go into Game 2 of this series and see if Everize can come back from that nice little contain and win from Select. In a moment, guys.